But there's also, the reality that some people in Alberta are kind of warming up to the Prime Minister because he has taken markedly different positions on issues that matter to them, whether it be energy development or climate change measures that he's backed off on. So maybe Mr. Genereux feels like his riding is starting to move in that direction as well.
Rosie, thank you. The CBC's Chief Political Correspondent Rosemary Barton live in Ottawa. Minister of Industry Melanie Joly is speaking to reporters in Montreal. Let's listen.
Just because it's all made up anyway.
Just because it's all made up anyways, guys. That is the Chief Political Correspondent of the CBC admitting that it's all made up. Today is Friday, February 20th. My name is Miloš Krajčnik. This is Canuck News. You guys heard it. I'm going to repeat it. It's all made up. And she laughed. Which means they don't actually care about the constituents. Because if they did, what is happening with the floor crossing wouldn't ever be happening. And I know people in my comments always say that, floor crossing is legal. It's not against the law. That is 100% right. It doesn't make it right. It does not make it right because most people vote for a platform. They vote for a party. They don't vote for a person. And that's exactly what Matt Jeanreau, the Conservative MP, did, who recently crossed floors to join the Liberals. And that move just has single-handedly brought Mark Carney's government closer to a majority in power. This isn't speculation. It's arithmetic. This guy is calculating when to switch floors, just like Michael Ma did, and just like everybody else has been doing. Chris D'Entremont, right? That's the other guy. Let's go through the article. Alberta MP Matt Jeanreau has joined the Liberal caucus, making him the third Conservative MP to break with his party since November, a move that puts the Carney government on the cusp of a majority. Though they now hold 169 seats in the House of Commons, the Liberals are expected to pick up 2 more when by-elections are called in 2 safe Liberal ridings. To attain a majority government, they would still need a seat in addition to those 2. They have a chance to secure one in the 3rd by-election, set to be called in the Quebec riding of Terrebonne. But the Liberal candidate won there by just a single vote in last April's elections. The Supreme Court recently annulled that result, making the by-election necessary. Like I said, the Edmonton Riverbend voted Conservative, guys. Not marginally, not ambiguously. It was a 50.2% in Alberta voted for Conservative. Why? Because Alberta is the most conservative province in the country. And when voters go to the ballot box, guys, they're not voting for an independent operator in isolation. He's not an independent candidate. They're voting for a party, a platform, a governing direction, and a national alignment. And today, that same seat contributes to a Liberal government that is within reach of majority authority, guys. Nothing about the riding changed. The voters didn't change. The electoral math didn't change. Only the caucus alignment changed. And in a minority parliament, every seat matters, guys. The seat, it doesn't sit quietly in opposition. It contributes to governing arithmetic. No by-election, no renewed mandates, guys. No opportunity for voters to affirm or reject the shift. Just arithmetic. This is not about legality. The rules permit floor crossing. You can't complain really about it. But this is about alignment. When representation shifts without consultation, the meaning of the vote becomes elastic. It essentially means nothing. He won based on conservative voters, not based on liberal voters, and now he's representing a liberal government. And elastic mandates stretch in one direction, and that's towards power. Another path to a majority could come about if Prime Minister Mark Carney recruits another MP from a rival party to join his caucus. Mr. Jeanreau's name first surfaced as a potential floor crosser last year when the speculation that he was joining the Liberals was at its height. He announced that he was leaving politics altogether. But on Wednesday, he reversed course, saying he had reflected on the gravity of the moment Canada is facing. Sitting next to Mark Carney in Edmonton, Mr. Jeanreau represents the riding of Edmonton Riverbend. He linked his decision to the Prime Minister's recent speech to the World Economic Forum and that, wow, really? You're going to switch parties because of a speech this guy gave in Davos in which he didn't really say anything, nothing of substance? What did he say? All he said to sum it up, was that we have no power. And everybody around here that's kind of being bullied essentially doesn't have any power. That's literally all he said. It was an eloquent speech. It was a very eloquent speech. But it just admitted that Canada, like France, like Italy, like all of those countries that consider themselves middle powers, are essentially powerless. Because if you're trying to band people together that are in the same spot as you, that means you have no power. That's essentially what that means. But everybody has been reading into Mark Carney's speech as if it's like some life-changing speech, as if it's changing, as if it's doing something. It did nothing. It did nothing because there have been no alignments signed. What happened? What? Canada joined an EU military bloc for procurement. Wow. Because the Europeans right now are so efficient with manufacturing military equipment. That's such a great thing. They've shown how capable they are of supplying the Ukrainians with weapons. Not very. And the whole continent is going through a massive inflationary bubble. And not to get into other things, not to get into any other backlash. What else did Mark Carney do? He went to the UAE. He talked to a guy for investments from the UAE, Sultan, one of the sultans, one of the sheikhs, for investments. Where was he? He was listed on Epstein, on the Epstein list. Right, he was raping kids with Jeffrey Epstein, right? But there's been no backlash in the media for these human rights abuses that we as Canadians love to tout so frequently. No. That's a good move. That's a good strategic move. We need Arab money. We need Arab money that they have from a sovereign wealth fund that they've built up using oil revenue. Where's Canada's oil revenue? Where's Canada's sovereign wealth fund? Why don't we have $1 trillion laying around in a sovereign wealth fund so that we can fund our own strategic projects? That speech made Matt Jean switch. If it did, that's embarrassing. That just shows how low of a level of geopolitical understanding he actually has. It's not about the speech. It's about the timing for having a majority government and him actually being in power. And I want to stop right here, guys, just because there's a lot here to unpack. I know I went off on a bit of a tangent, but he announced he was leaving politics. Matt Jean announced he was leaving politics, not switching parties. He did not resign, though, and he remained in parliament. And he remained in discussions. And he crossed, at the moment, the governing party was within reach of a majority power. He didn't intend to step away from public life ever. So this is an unusual step from opposition to government. In the precise moment government needs numbers. Guys, political systems reward proximity to power. This isn't an accusation, it's a pattern. In the speech, Mark Carney spoke of a rupture in global relations and urged middle powers to build coalitions in order to survive in an era where great powers have turned into predators. And I think, for me, that's where a lot of the world has changed. I think it opened up a lot of eyes for Canadians, Albertans, Edmontonians, Mr. Jean said, adding that he felt it was quite simply wrong to be sitting on the sidelines anymore, so I reached out to the Prime Minister's office. You felt it was a good time to reach out to the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, that same province they're running a separatist movement, an active separatist movement. But you felt that this was the right time as an Albertan to go reach out to a liberal federal government that is quite literally the reason Albertans are angry. And rightfully so. Though Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre had warm words for Mr. Jean when the MP announced in November that he was stepping down, Mr. Poilievre took a different tone on Wednesday. Matt Jean has betrayed the people of Edmonton Riverbend who voted for affordable food and homes, safe streets, and a strong resource sector, Mr. Poilievre said in a statement. And he's right. That's exactly what these people voted for. They didn't vote for a liberal government. They don't like the liberal government. That's why that riding voted 50.2% conservative. It's not just because they might like Matt Jean he maybe had nice speeches, but they support conservatives. They're partisan. There's a polarity in politics, And some people, the majority of voters, wear their tag with pride. And Albertans wear the Conservative tag with pride. And he took that tag and he went to the toilet and he wiped his rear end with it, essentially. And now he's pushing himself, trying to get closer into power. It's all it is. It's a power play. Conservatives will continue our fight for a Canada that's affordable, safe, and self-reliant. He also attacked Mr. Carney. Mr. Carney is trying to seize a costly Liberal majority government that Canadians voted against in the last election through dirty backdoor deals, he said. Although Liberals have a strong minority, the party has been forced to negotiate with Conservatives on the budget and other key legislation. The official opposition, however, is trailing in a number of polls and is not keen to force an election in the near term. Mr. Jean Rowe was first elected in 2015. He won his seat in the 2025 election with 50.2% of the vote. His decision gives the Liberals a third seat in Alberta at a time when Mr. Carney and the Alberta government are locked in negotiations on the next steps for their landmark energy accord and its promise of a new pipeline to the West Coast. The Liberals won 169 seats in the House of Commons in the April election before Mr. Jean Rowe. Two other Conservatives joined their caucus, Nova Scotia's Chris d'Entremont and Ontario's Michael Mott. But Liberals, Chrystia Freeland and Bill Blair, resigned their safe Liberal seats with Terrebonne. That leaves 3 vacancies that must be filled by the by-elections. The timing of the by-elections has not been announced. However, on Tuesday, Mr. Carney visited Terrebonne and met with now former Liberal MP who won by a single vote over the Bloc Québécois. Though Mr. Jean Rowe had said in November that he intended to resign his seat in the new year, he remained in contact with Liberals who continued to try to persuade him to cross the floor, 3 sources say to the Globe and Mail. And I'm going to stop here, guys, because I think this is a really important place to stop. Because what we're seeing is majority by assembly. Carney didn't win a majority in April. He won a minority. And minority governments need to negotiate. Majority governments decide. If this government reaches 172 seats, it will not have done so through a general election. It will have done so through caucus realignment. No ballots cast, no platform renewed, just numbers, guys. In Canada's parliamentary system, obviously this is allowed. It's legal. You can't say anything really about it. But it alters the balance of power without returning to voters. That is a structural reality. And if you think about it, if it bothers Canadians that much, and I've seen it bother Canadians quite a bit, if it bothers Canadians that much, maybe the laws around floor crossing need to change, quite simply, because there's way too much political opportunism that takes place with floor crossing. And the floor crossings always happen in times of when it's a tight race. Who's going to win more likely? And that's exactly what's happening with the Conservatives. We have a map up here. We see how many seats are there. And this is one of those general structural problems with Canadian politics. Because you have the Liberals and the Conservatives, they're always going head to head. The Conservatives generally always have a little bit less. If they get up to this kind of level, the Conservatives can always ride on the NDP for extra support in a coalition. Justin Trudeau did it several times. It's not uncommon. The Conservatives always have to ride it alone. And why this matters to Canadians, guys, is this isn't about one MP, guys. This is about how power consolidates in Ottawa. In a minority parliament, every seat holds leverage. When a seat changes, the caucus alignment without the voters being consulted, it changes the governing balance without changing the electorate, guys. And that affects how quickly legislation moves, how budgets pass, how committees are structured, how much negotiation is required, and how much opposition matters. Minority governments negotiate. Majority governments decide. If the government reaches 172 seats through floor crossings and by-election timing, it will wield a majority authority without actually having one at the ballot box. It's legal, sure, but it reshapes power without actually reshaping voter consent. It erodes the trust of elections, of trust of voters. What does your vote actually matter if the guy you vote for and the party you voted for are just going to switch? What's the point of that vote? You didn't vote for him specifically. You voted what that what the politics behind that party mean. And that matters obviously because parliamentary math determines how your taxes are spent, how your energy policy is written, how immigration levels are set, and how defense dollars are also allocated. And when the structure of power changes, guys, policy velocity changes as well. And this is not a question of rules, guys. This is a question of democracy. And in a democracy, mandate is supposed to come from voters, guys, not arithmetic alone. And that's why this matters. That's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys liked today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave some comments in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think this really affects everybody from any political affiliation that you guys, that you support. I really don't care if you're a liberal or a conservative, NDP, Green, whatever. I honestly, I don't care. I'd love to hear from you what you guys think about floor crossings and how it affects Canadian politics without obviously, today's situation is exactly how it is. The Liberals are about have a very realistic chance of winning a majority. Do you, as Liberals, if the situation was reversed, would you actually support it? Would you say, hey, it's legal? Who cares? That's what I would like to know. Stay informed, stay curious, and God bless Canada.
This is Canada. Maple syrup.